Nearly 200 individual nations call the world home today, and all are increasingly interconnected in our rapidly changing global landscape. Yet each one carries a life of its own. Every life travels through many twists and turns. There are times of incredible growth, success, and prosperity, when decisions and achievements make history and become recognized by other nations around the world. And then there are times of devastation, betrayal, and attack. Times when a nation feels it's best for its people to turn inward, to lock the gates, and abandon long-held friendships. But what if, during these times, nations pushed in even closer together instead of drifting into isolation? What if doors remained open and conversations remained ongoing? If nations recognized that together we make up one large, diverse family of humanity, that our children need all of us working together? Perhaps then, those nations will discover again that we are stronger together than alone. That we are not so easily broken when we journey the unpredictable road of life together. Together, we can gaze into the light and face what is ahead with great anticipation, building a better world for our children and the generations to come.
When Logan and I were dating, we really were attracted to the beauty of adoption and just the way that people who were from different parts of the world would come together and be a part of a family. So we began the process for Ethiopia, and Beckham became a part of our family. And then we had Sully, who is now 3, and really didn't quite know what was next, but we knew that our family was not complete. And we received an email. I say we, Logan received an email. And Lena's profile was in the email.
I just stopped. Like, this little girl is capturing my attention. I could not stop looking at her picture. And that's where it started. And so from that moment, I knew that I don't know what the journey is going to look like, but this little girl is forever etched in my mind and heart.
Lifeline, our adoption agency, had opened up about these twin boys, 9-month-old boys in Poland, who were potentially going to be separated if they weren't adopted together.
I grew up, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, so just knowing that I have my brothers and sisters out there, someone to rely on, someone who's always there for you, someone who has your back. Just the thought of if they were separated and then, Aiden grows up in one family and Arlie would grow up in, the orphanage or wherever he would land. Just knowing that they would know that there was a brother out there that they did not know, and just couldn't imagine being separated out of that dynamic.
We were kind of at the very end, expecting our approval, and you got the phone call.
Jana, our caseworker, called, and she said basically that we had been denied, and rather than getting travel approval, our process had been terminated, and there was essentially no path forward. We petitioned and asked for this to be reconsidered. We even began to talk about, if we can't adopt her, how can we still make sure that she's cared for? And so, weeks went by, and we received a phone call and had a travel date for Poland. We were elated, and those around us were as well.
And we know too that they didn't have to change their decision. It was one that they chose to because they loved and cared for Lena enough to see the benefit of her being a part of our family.
I would love to meet the person who reinstated it. Obviously to tell them thank you, to let them know they literally changed our lives. They changed our families' lives, they changed our community's lives by that one action. And I would love for them to see all that has come of that decision.
So we left Poland on February 2nd.
We had never been to Poland, but we absolutely loved getting to know the people, getting to know the culture. We were very impressed with the amount of care that she had received and the amount of information they had on her.
In country, we were faced with a lot of questions about were we really prepared to raise Arlie, to care for him, to meet his needs, and if we really understood what that meant for our lives as well.
2 że tak ciężko doświadczone zdrowotnie, w szczególności Arlie, Więc niepewność, my się modliliśmy i nie ukrywam, że bardzo gorąco, żeby znalazły rodzinę adopcyjną, bo to jedyne wyjście dla nich było.
We got to see how much her foster mom really, really loved her. And we had sent her a photo album earlier, and her foster mom was teaching Lena mama and tata and brother. So when we got there, Lena knew who we were because her foster mom took the time to really teach her. And that meant a lot to us because we know she didn't have to do that. Even though she had never met us, she advocated for us because she knew Lena would thrive in a family setting.
Każdego dnia do przylotu rodziców tłumaczyliśmy Lenie, że to jest konieczne, że ona i tak będzie mieć nową rodzinę, ale ona myślę, że trafiła w bardzo dobre miejsce. Rodzice na pewno ją kochają. Nie wiem.
We get home and we take her to her room and she just jumped right in and without any hesitation. One thing with her medical condition is she has a hard time with balance, and so somebody suggested dance. She, at the very beginning, had a really hard time standing on one foot, and by the end of it, at her dance recital day, she was up on the stage doing everything just perfect. So it's been remarkable just seeing her socially develop and her interests flourish, but also watching just physically how great she's done.
My heart was for older kids. It's a challenge, we know that, but we see lots of good changes in them.
We came home and the next week, was it the next week or the week after? We
2
were in
weeks
school.
later,
2 weeks later, they
probably,
were in
yeah.
public school. They've excelled. Even right away, they were doing really well in math. But even now, with the reading and writing, they're pretty close to their peers, which is really amazing.
Yeah, so a typical day for us starts around 6. I usually get up, start making Arlie's medicine and his food. Amber will get the girls and Aiden ready for school.
Ashton and Abby and Aiden will go off to school and Arlie stays home. Then during the day, a physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, vision therapist, teachers. I mean, they're all coming different days of the week. They're all coming during the week to work with Arlie.
I just noticed they really like the structure. They can move on if those needs are not filled, you know, the need of belonging to one place.
Sometimes I'm just exhausted after work and get home and I want to just go to bed. And he's like, okay, you're going to read with me? You know, his dad coming down to pray with us. I mean, he really is just desiring that.
Rodzina i dom to są takie podstawowe wartości dla dziecka, które gwarantują mu poczucie bezpieczeństwa, miłości, przynależności i tą świadomość, że ja jestem czyjś. Bez wątpienia dziecko, które żyje w rodzinie, ma większe szanse na to, żeby lepiej funkcjonować w przyszłości.
Statistically, Americans adopt internationally more than any other country because we are a multicultural nation. We see children from 50 different countries, and so a lot of the families have support amongst their families and their communities to adopt children from other cultures.
One way that we've really been blessed by family is my sister and her husband.
When we first brought the boys home, we realized that, you know, the baby crib wasn't going to work for Arlie forever. So Sean's sister and her husband, they run an auction business, and they actually got in a special needs, like a hospital bed, through their auction, and they bought that and gave it to us as a gift for Arlie.
It's like a $20,000 bed. It's crazy.
A common thing that I see with American families is once they've adopted from a certain country, then they begin to teach their child their heritage. Many of them connect with other people, other families who've adopted from that culture. Often they plan to travel back to visit. So it brings a very positive image to the birth country because it becomes a part of that family.
We did not expect to leave not only with a daughter who would forever change our lives, but with affection for a country that we knew very little about previously, that we can't wait to take our family back.
So we're planning to go to Poland for 5 weeks. We will be staying with my family there. So my hopes are really for the boys to use the language all the time, the whole time. They are looking forward to eat the Polish food and just
Pączki.
Pączki, yeah.
Yeah, so last year I went to Poland, and this year I will go with my brother to Poland. Every morning I will get up and go to the nearest store, a Pączki store. I bought a lot of those and then eat them on the way so Mom doesn't see too because they tasted good. What else will we do? I think we will, at least I will go bike riding. And then obviously I'll go to Grandma's and see how the chickens pick up some eggs.
My sister's husband, he really loves Polish history and he loves to look at maps, and so he spent last year a lot of time with Caleb explaining more history.
I didn't know how beautiful Poland was, or how they've overcome so much, and it was just amazing to see their culture and how far they've come, and the history and the art. And we hope that she is able to celebrate her story, not just know it, not just be able to tell others, but that she is proud of her story.
We were told that Arlie probably wouldn't live to be 5, and so this past February was their 5th birthday, and the biggest thing I wish that Poland could see is how much he is thriving with us. You know, he just mostly just needed a family.
He is loved, you know, and there's so many families here who love him and, you know, who would love to take in a child like Arlie and help him thrive.
So a crucial part of our story is that the doors were closed while we were in the process, and the ministry reopened those doors, and it forever changed our lives and those around us. And we know that there are many other families who were in process and the doors were closed, and we know exactly what they're going through. And our hope and our prayer is that the ministry would open those doors again, that they would forever change the lives of those families as well, because that one act changes countless lives.